Hey, y'all, welcome to the Why Podcast for Why, as always, the questioning. You're in the closet with Celeste Fred. I'm so happy to be here with y'all. You already know. So let's get real for a second. Everybody is talking about healing, and everybody's talking about growth, and everybody is talking about knowing your worth. But what nobody tells you is that one of the hardest parts of growth isn't learning something new. It's walking away from what you already know. So for today's why is walking away the hardest part of growth? You know, I had to do a lot of growing, and I'm still growing. I'm only 42. I don't look it. No, let me stop. And I'm supposed to, because we're taking care of ourselves over here. But no, for real, I know I don't look it. But I have spent a lot of time working on my growth. And I said in the past video, I'm going to definitely probably link it up here somewhere or down below. You know, YouTube always shows you. I just remember knowing how necessary it was, very necessary, to grow past my pain, my hurt, and the things I was holding on to. Because you need to understand that the first part of yourself, that you don't want to stay where you are. And that's when you know that growth is necessary, because you for damn sure don't want to go backwards. So this brings me to my first point is, you're not just leaving the person or the situation. You're leaving the identity attached to it. Sometimes we say, or we stay in the relationship or that job or that lifestyle or have those friends or have those colleagues or whatever because that became a part of our story. Even if it hurt, it was beneath us. Walking away means redefining yourself. And that's scary when your sense of self has been tied to the struggle. You got to know when it's time to get up and go, though. See, comfort is seductive, even when it's uncomfortable. The devil you know makes you feel safer than the devil of the unknown, right? It might be chaos, but it's predictable chaos. Growth demands we walk into uncertainty. And that kind of unknown feels like a loss, even if it's liberation. I must have heard the story of a king that gave his prisoners two choices. You can either be hung here today in front of everyone in the courts, or you could be sent out from beyond the gates into the unknown. And it scared those people so bad to go over in those gates into the unknown that they chose to be hung. And one guy once asked the king, "What's beyond the gates?" And the king said, "Freedom." They chose their own death over freedom and didn't even know it. I'm going to tell y'all, I have walked into the unknown so many times. I could tell you so many instances. It was unknown to me, but I was following along the path of a journey that God had for me. And I was following him. I never forget, I was going for an interview downtown San Francisco for a recruiter's job, and I was ready. I had a friend who used to be a recruiter. I studied for this position. I studied the company, and when I interview very well. And I remember getting there. I had my outfit on, my suit and everything. I even had a briefcase, y'all. I was just, stepping. And I remember standing outside that building for whatever reason. I stood there, and it was like, I don't know, it was the beginning of the end. It was weird. I don't even know why I did it, but I know why. It's very prophesying of how it happened. I was standing there, and I was looking up at the building, and I heard God's voice, and he said, "You're going to go in there, and you're going to get it. They are going to want to hire you. But I don't want that for you. I want something else. So you can either go in here and you're going to get that job, or you could turn around and walk into the unknown with me. Y'all, I was a young, single, teenage mom. And by this time, I'm a young, single, adult woman. I was 22. I needed that job. I wanted that job. But I turned away. I turned and walked away. And I followed the Father and have always been following Him. Before then, until now, I followed to where He wanted me to go. And you have to have that kind of faith within Him. But you got to have that understanding within yourself that it's okay to go into the unknown. Sometimes you're afraid of being the bad guy when it comes to friendships and relationships that you got to leave behind. People pleasing will have you stuck in places you've outgrown. You worry about how others feel, what they'll say, how they'll paint the story. But growth often requires disappointing people who are comfortable with your smallness. And that's fine. We're not sent here for others. We're sent here for a purpose. And we can't get to that purpose if we can't step outside of ourselves and outside of our circles. You mistake loyalty for obligation. There's a difference between being loyal and being trapped. Sometimes we stay too long because we confuse history with destiny. Or just because you share the past doesn't mean you owe anybody your future. Now, I wholeheartedly am with that. You know, I would hear this term, especially in the mid to like the 2015s up to now, the no new friends type thing. And I was like, what? I just wasn't with that. I meet great people every single day. I don't call everybody my friend, but I do make new friends here and there all the time. Great new friends, great people. So I'm like, no new friends? Nah. You're putting yourself in a situation where you want to be stuck and obligated to someone or something that you've outgrown. That's not fair to you. And that's not allowing you to be able to step into your purpose. So I was like, nah. You know, you're mourning the potential, not the reality. You're not grieving what was, you're grieving what could have been. We hold on to people and plans, hoping they'll finally live up to the vision we had. Please. But if it hasn't changed after all this time, you have to ask yourself, was it ever real? And I'm not going to even go that far because it's real. I'll say this. Was it necessary to stay in that space for so long? We got to question ourselves with that every day. Walking away means taking full responsibility. Staying allows us to keep blaming the other side. But when you walk away, it's just you, your choices, and your mirror. Growth requires accountability, and that weight is heavy if you've been avoiding it. I'm a big person on accountability. Oh my gosh. I look myself in the mirror and I be like, self, if you don't get it together, get out of your mind. I got this thing I wrote on my mirror. I heard Janelle Monáe saying that, and I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was lovely, and I thought it was so necessary. And every now and then, as I'm looking in the mirror doing my makeup, I'll repeat it back to myself because I believe it's very necessary. I say, I'm better than this moment. It will pass. I love myself at and in every evolution, both beneficial and non-beneficial, good, bad, or indifferent. I honor myself for operating in the fullness that I could at that time and at that space. I am proud of myself for the bravery to grow. I am proud of myself for finding tools and figuring this ish out. I will give myself grace to figure it out, grace to stumble, Grace to pause. I highlight and I cancel all contracts and agreements that don't serve me for my highest good. And I give myself permission to evolve as often as I need to in any way that I need to without explanation. I thought that was dope. So dope, I wrote it down on my mirror. I say it to myself, and I do give myself permission to stumble, to grow, and you should too. It's fine, it's okay, and it's very necessary. Remember that. Your nervous system could be addicted to dysfunction and you don't realize it. So let's talk biology. Sometimes your brain literally thinks chaos is normal. And peace feels boring. Instability feels foreign. So then when you walk away, you're not just detoxing emotionally, you're rewiring your whole system biologically. And that's important. And it's okay to do that. Because you're not the same person today as you were yesterday, whether you're trying to grow or not. It's a part of life, something that we have to do. The part is, do you want to transform? Because we all get older. We all grow. Do you want to transform? You got growth and then transformation. There's grief and growth. Yes, you're making the right decision. Yes, you're choosing yourself. Not vainly. Spiritually. You need to. But that doesn't make it painless. You can be proud of your growth and still cry over what you had to let go of. That grief, it's sacred. Don't rush it. Don't shame it. But make sure you make it necessary. I remind myself every day I only got this one life to live, so I better live it to the fullest. And not in the fullest in this crazy way, to the fullest of my potential, of what God put in me, of the journey that He has me on, of the person He made me to be, uniquely me. We're all uniquely our own person. There's no one else like you that had your experiences and that has grown you the way you have grown. But there's more that needs to be done. We don't ever stop growing until we leave here. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. And I hope you're okay with that too. So in closing, why is walking away the hardest part of growth? Because walking away is a death. The death of old versions of you. The death of what if. The death of roles you played for survival. But don't forget this. Every death clears the way for resurrection. Ooh, come on. If you have the strength to stay this long, you definitely have the strength to leave. You do. And what's waiting on the other side? Clarity, peace, a you that's no longer settling for less than you deserve. So I'm going to leave y'all with this as always. Remember, question everything, starting with why. Why? Because why is always the question. And about y'all. Peace.